Thank you for your purchase of XIM NEXUS. Add a new dimension to your aim with the XIM NEXUS High Precision Motion Aim Controller for consoles and PC. Through proprietary motion engine and aim translation technology, XIM NEXUS is able to provide a level of motion aim precision unachievable by any other gaming controller available. Gamers can increase their overall aiming accuracy and speed over traditional thumbstick aim by enhancing their aim with XIM motion control. From veteran controller gamers to those that are new to controllers, XIM NEXUS is for anyone that wants to improve their aim in their favorite shooters. Featuring full wireless configuration through smartphones, tablets, and PCs, it is simple to configure and easy to use. It's the perfect companion to even the most demanding gamer. Welcome to the XIM community. XIM NEXUS comes with several parts. First, the XIM NEXUS controller, which we refer to as just controller throughout this guide. Next, the XIM NEXUS wireless adapter, referred to as just adapter throughout this guide, is used to connect your controller wirelessly to your console. The adapter is required to use your controller on an Xbox or PlayStation. When using on a PC, it is optional if your PC has Bluetooth connectivity. Finally, your XIM NEXUS also comes with a variety of USB cables. The cables are used for charging your controller, connect to your console controllers to adapter, more on this later, and an extension cable to make it easier to connect adapter to some consoles that are standing upright. Before you start using your XIM NEXUS, make sure your controller is fully charged. Locate the USB port on the back of your controller. Take the USB-C to A cable that comes with your XIM NEXUS and plug it into a USB power adapter or computer. Then, plug your controller in. As your controller charges, it will slowly blink yellow. Once it's fully charged, it will blink green. It will take around 3 hours to fully charge your controller. Under normal use, the battery will last around 12 hours. Once your controller is fully charged and turned on, you can now connect to your console or PC. First, we will show a connection to an Xbox, followed by PlayStation, and then PC. For consoles, it is required that you use a genuine first-party console controller to connect your adapter. It must be connected at all times. First, start with your adapter unplugged. Then, locate the included USB cable that matches the USB port on your Xbox controller. Now, plug one side into the USB-C port on your adapter. Next, plug your Xbox controller into the cable. Finally, plug your adapter into your Xbox's USB port. Try to choose a port such that the adapter is facing you for best wireless performance. At this point, you'll see the lights start blinking red. This means adapter isn't connected to controller yet. Once adapter has successfully connected to your Xbox, you'll see it blink green 4 times and your Xbox controller will turn on. If you never see the green initialization lights, press the guide button on your Xbox controller. Connecting to a PlayStation 4 is very similar to the process of connecting to an Xbox, except there is one extra required step. If you are using a DualShock 4 Gen 2, the one with the light bar across the trackpad, then you must enable wired communication in your PlayStation's device settings. If you don't do this, then your adapter cannot connect to your PlayStation. Starting with your adapter unplugged, plug your genuine DualShock 4 into adapter. Then, plug adapter into your PlayStation's USB port. Try to choose a port such that the adapter is facing you for best wireless performance. You'll see the lights start blinking red. This means adapter isn't connected to controller yet. Once adapter has successfully connected to your PlayStation, you'll see it blink green 4 times and your DualShock controller will turn on. If you never see the green initialization lights, press the PS button on your DualShock controller. When connecting to a PC, you have 2 options. The first option is using adapter. Simply plug it into your PC. Notice that there is no other controller connected to adapter's USB port. You'll see the lights start blinking red. This means adapter isn't connected to controller yet. Once adapter has successfully connected to your PC, you'll see it blink purple 4 times. The second option is for those that want to connect their XIM NEXUS controller directly to their PC via Bluetooth. In that configuration, adapter isn't required. Even if your PC is Bluetooth capable, you may still choose to use adapter for performance reasons. To learn more about direct Bluetooth connection, please refer to the user manual. Now that your adapter is running and connected to your console or PC, it's time to turn on your controller. To do so, press and hold the guide button for around 2 seconds. When on, it will pulse white and it will connect to adapter. When the wireless connection occurs, you'll see both controller and adapter display a cyan green light sequence. Adapter also displays a white light sequence when it's connected to controller. To turn off your controller, press and hold the guide button until it shuts off, around 5 seconds. The light will turn off, or it will display the current charging status if plugged in. Your controller automatically turns off after 10 minutes if it's not in use. Once your XIM NEXUS is connected to your console or PC, it is now active and you can use it. But you will notice that moving the controller doesn't have any effect. This is because when you first turn on your controller, it is in classic mode. In this mode, the controller acts like any other console controller. It is limited to just buttons, sticks, and triggers. You'll know you're in classic mode because your controller will blink white slowly. Classic mode makes it easier to navigate menus and your console's dashboard when not in game, especially if you have remapped your buttons. Before you can start gaming, you'll need to add a config to your controller. XIM NEXUS is a high-precision device that understands exactly how aim behaves in the hundreds of games it supports. A config is used to tell your controller what game you are playing and stores all your custom motion, stick, trigger, and button settings for that game. To add a config to controller, you need to first install and connect to XIM NEXUS Manager. XIM NEXUS Manager is used to fully configure your controller. Download XIM NEXUS Manager for Android or iOS from their app stores. For the PC version, download from xim.tech. Now, run XIM NEXUS Manager. We will just call it Manager for the rest of this guide. Once Manager is launched, it'll start looking for a XIM NEXUS controller to connect to. The pairing process only happens through Manager. Do not use your phone's Bluetooth system pairing interface. If your device doesn't have Bluetooth enabled, then Manager will let you know it needs to be on. For Android users, you'll also need your location services on to pair for the first time. This is a requirement of Google. Your location is never used. XIM NEXUS is designed for low latency input performance. To ensure you are always running optimally, you must notify your controller when you would like to configure it by entering Manager Search Mode. Only then will Manager connect to it. To enter Manager Search Mode, press plus and minus at the same time. Your controller will start blinking cyan. But, since we're connecting to your controller for the first time, continue to hold plus and minus until it blinks rapidly. Once connected for the first time, you will no longer need to hold plus and minus to connect. After you disconnect from Manager, you will need to enter Manager Search Mode again to reconnect. You are now ready to create your first config. First, choose the game you are playing. You can either scroll to it or use the search bar. Then, choose the platform you are on. Manager will then transfer your new config to your controller. Whenever Manager communicates with your controller will rapidly blink white. In about 15 seconds, your config will be transferred. After your config has been added to your controller, you'll be notified that you must set your game sensitivity to maximum. This is a requirement for every game you play with your XIM NEXUS. You will then configure your aim sensitivity through Manager. In some cases, there are additional settings you must make for the game you are playing. Not every game you play will require additional settings beyond the default values. To check for your game, select Yes. You will be directed to XIM.tech for any additional settings that must be made. In this example, there are additional required settings. Make sure your settings match, otherwise, your aim through XIM NEXUS will not be optimal. If you need to review required settings later, you can select the gear icon on the main manager screen. Once you've configured your game based on required settings, it's time to tune your config to your gaming preferences. The best thing to do is start a private match or enter a training mode in the game. If your controller is in classic mode, you'll see Manager tell you like shown here, and your controller will be slowly pulsing white. Remember that classic mode means your controller will have limited behavior like any other standard console controller. To exit classic mode, press Next and Previous to turn it off. Press again to turn it back on. Remember that classic mode is very useful for navigating menus when not in game, since it disables all motion control and button mappings. Notice that after classic mode is disabled, your controller is displaying red. This is the default color of the config you just created. Let's edit the config. Select the Edit button. These are the settings you use to customize how your controller feels in-game. You can customize the name of your config and its color. Try changing the color. You will see the color change on your controller in real time. All settings you change in Manager occur on your controller immediately. Like when you created your config, your controller will blink white rapidly when Manager is communicating with it. Next, you are reminded again about properly setting up your game with required settings. This is a very important step, so you can view those settings again by selecting the link here. The next section is motion aim settings. We will get to that soon. But first, let's customize your thumbstick aim. To adjust your thumbstick aim, simply adjust the X and Y values to your preference and to what you are used to. Remember you've set your in-game sensitivity to maximum, so you use Manager to dial in the turn speed you prefer. Your XIM NEXUS controller includes 4 buttons on the back of it. They are positioned so that you can quickly press them with your middle fingers and then return back to your normal grip for best motion aim. To remap a back button, select one and choose the console controller button you want to map it to, or you can disable it. At this point, your aim should feel the same as what you are already used to with gaming with standard console controllers. Try it out and continue to adjust as needed. Next, it's time to configure motion aim. Motion aim provides the gamer with the ability to constantly and rapidly correct their stick aim with motion. It can be used for micro adjustments to your stick aim, or your primary precision aim where stick is used for coarse aim. Motion aim is additively combined with stick. The settings you will adjust for motion are sensitivity, smoothing, and activation. Notice you have 2 settings for sensitivity, hip and aim down sight. Games like this one that have different aim behavior between hip and ADS will give you independent sensitivity adjustment settings for both modes. In games that have single aim behavior between modes, you'll get a single sensitivity value to set. Press the left trigger to ADS. You'll notice your controller blink green, and when you release it, blinks yellow. It is letting you know that you switched to ADS aim, which blinks green, and then back to hip, which blinks yellow. By default, motion aim is only activated when aiming down sight. So, when you're in ADS, you can move your controller to adjust your aim. You'll feel your controller rumble when motion is activated and deactivated. Since motion is currently configured to only activate when in ADS, the ADS sensitivity setting is the only setting you need to change to adjust its speed. You can also choose to activate motion aim when you are in ADS or firing, and you can choose to turn it on all the time by selecting Engage Toggle. While in Engage Toggle, use the Engage button to turn motion on and off. While on, motion will be active in both hip and ADS aim modes. In this case, adjust your hip sensitivity as well. You can also choose what type of motion smoothing you prefer: starter, balanced, twitchy, focused, and heavy. It's recommended you stay on starter as you get used to things. Motion aim is a very powerful feature. As such, it is recommended you ease into using it by gradually augmenting your stick aim. Start at low motion sensitivities and work your way up. You may have noticed this link while you're editing your config. You are currently editing your config in what is known as standard mode. It shows you only the most frequently used settings. There is also an expert mode where you can unlock all of XIM NEXUS's features such as advanced trigger behavior and button mapping, custom stick curves, custom motion smoothing, and custom stick dead zones, to name a few. It is not recommended that you use expert mode until you are comfortable with standard. When you are ready, the XIM NEXUS user guide is a complete reference to everything XIM NEXUS has to offer. If you're having trouble, please visit our community forum and post to our support board. It is staffed with technical support, as well as community members from all over the world who are ready to help.